Hey.
Hi guys, I'm Ruthann.
I'm Chris.
And we are Geek Chic Promotions. It's time for our weekly Nerd Rage.
Woo!
Woo woo! We did have to pre-record this week because I am in New York City right now.
Congrats.
Oh, thank you. Cheers to that. Oh, as I spill again. Why? Because we already had a little bit of the champagne.
It's already been happening.
All right, so guys, we finally just watched the Captain Marvel as well as the Dark Phoenix trailers. I know we're a little bit behind on stuff.
We've been busy.
Relax. We've been busy.
Don't judge us.
So let's start with Captain Marvel because we watched that one first.
Yes.
Now I'm gonna preface to say I don't know much about her other than Rogue steals her powers, and that's how Rogue gets the personality from Carol Danvers, right?
Mm-hmm.
As well as flight and super strength and all that. So that's basically my knowledge of Captain Marvel. But this movie looks baller.
Yeah, I don't think that takes place in the movie.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm sure. There's no. I mean, we were talking about a few weeks ago our crossovers that we want so badly. I would love if this movie does well and we're going to keep Captain Marvel around. Like, and I'm sure we are because we already saw a little hint of her presence in Infinity War at the end of the first one.
Button.
Yeah. So I would love it if we can finally, because that whole merger just happened with Fox and everything else. Like, if we can finally get a true Rogue story. Wouldn't that be nice, guys?
Yeah, we should. Yeah, boy.
How dark would that be if we build up like Captain Marvel and then Rogue just comes in and puts her in a coma? Oh God.
Oh, you heard it here first.
Oh, sorry.
No,
is that a spoiler? Okay. I was like, I feel like everybody knows that.
No. So I am very excited about Captain Marvel. Simply, well, first of all, did not like the advertising that they did before this trailer.
Yeah,
with
we
the
talked
pictures
about
in EW. We talked about that before, where I was like, that was a letdown. Where she's like, I feel like breaking the internet, and then they didn't. It was like just pictures. They should have shown the trailer. Which, by the way, I feel like this trailer was done soon enough after that, where they could have just waited for the trailer. Like, I really do feel like that way. But anyway, so I was very excited by this because I was not let down like I was before. It was badass, guys.
So
it was
good.
Badass.
Gave me chills. I'm so on board.
I am on board too. And I think that she's the perfect choice to play this part because she's got that sweetness to her.
But also she's like
a little bit of a badass.
She's like a strong build too. And personally, I got really frustrated in the 90s with all these very frail women, like these frail model types playing superheroes, because I'm like, I'm sorry, like, or my favorite like being like badass with this like gun, and it's like,
if you haven't like seen her like her Instagram, you should probably follow Brie Larson because she was doing a whole bunch of stuff with Allison Brie. I don't know if you saw the crossover where it was Allison Brie Larson, and they did like a whole bunch of pictures together.
That's perfect.
It was pretty great. That's a side topic, though. I do really think that she is perfect for this role, and I think she can pull it off. She's a great actress. Obviously, she's won an Oscar, I think, for The Room, because she was with the kid.
I'm gonna say it's The Room. No, not The Room.
A Room?
What? Room.
Oh, just Room.
Because The Room is that magic with what's his butt. So it's just Room, I believe.
Just Room. Yeah. Okay, you're right. Yeah. So anyway, I do think that she's super. I think she's a great choice, and I'm very excited. Her costume looks great.
Costume looks amazing.
Fantastic. I think the action looks great, and the way they made Samuel L. Jackson look younger, which, by the way, I've heard they did. I heard they did it through the whole movie.
Really?
Yes. How they just whatever it is they do
so
with movie
the
magic.
The whole movie is period. So again, I apologize because everybody always like rails on us that we don't do more like research on the movies before with trailers, but we want to come with completely fresh eyes. Like, sorry if that's weird for everybody.
First impressions.
But that's kind of how we roll.
And so I'm not sure if they do the whole thing, but I the one thing I did hear was that they did do that on him for the majority of the movie. So, which is I think pretty great because I remember the first time seeing that was it wasn't Ant-Man with Michael Douglas, which they did do, but it was before that with Tron.
Right, Tron was
Tron with Jeff Bridges.
There was Tron, and there was also Benjamin Button, where they did that too.
Oh, did they? Because I remember it, Benjamin Button, obviously,
like
but
one of the most famous actors ever. Why am I?
Are you talking about Brad Pitt?
Yes. He's like the famous person.
Yeah. But I think I first noticed it with Jeff Bridges when they did it in Tron, and I was like, that is amazing. Like that does not look CGI'd, but it was.
It's the technology is
what they can do
crazy
these days, guys. I don't even know.
I think it is de-age. Just everybody as soon as we turn on the
Can it
camera.
just be
Is there an app for that, please? How about now? That'd be
really
great.
like that. The older I get, the more I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm on board. Like,
Ain't gonna stay this way forever, guys.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, I mean, everything I've been seeing, I mean, people have been talking about this trailer, been talking about the movie. I'm super stoked.
Yeah,
I'm super stoked to have her added to the Marvel Universe. I think it's the perfect time to add her as well, especially in the middle of the whole Infinity War stuff. I think it's perfect.
Absolutely. I think it is high time, guys, that we had movies that had a central female character. And we haven't had one of these yet that's been done well. And I think this is going to be it. This is the super movie. Everyone's been like crying over like Black Widow, but I think this is the one.
Yeah, I really think so too. I mean, between this and our new Doctor, I'm so stoked for 2019. I'm on board.
Yeah, I said that for 2018. And here we are.
What were we excited 2018 again?
God, I don't remember, but it turned out to be nothing, that's for sure.
But
anyway, now we also have Dark Phoenix.
Okay, let's have some talks about Dark Phoenix because, okay, to be fair, the comic book even gets a little bananas. It doesn't get bananas until far later, but...
Who wrote that storyline?
That was Chris Claremont.
Was it Chris
It
Claremont?
was.
Okay.
I can grab it right now. It's on my shelf.
Chris Claremont.
Nerd.
Not his best work?
No.
Because you said it got bananas.
It got bananas after. So, how the story goes is that they're flying and they're in the jet and it's about to crash. Jean Grey saves the day, but she supposedly dies. So she goes outside the ship. So it's very similar to actually X2.
Okay.
Where she goes outside the ship to save it.
Right. Okay.
So that's one of the few things that X2 got right. Anyways. So it's about to crash in the water, but then all of a sudden she comes back out in this totally different outfit and she says, I'm the Phoenix. So it's this thing that supposedly has been resting inside of her, but at her death comes out. Sorry, I'll turn the sound off my phone. And again, I need to reread this comic. It's been years. Obviously, I do own it. But she comes out and she's Phoenix and she's all powerful and it's a very different character than Phoenix. And it isn't until Mastermind from the Hellfire Club, which that's where Emma Frost comes from.
Yeah, I don't think that was Emma Frost. I think that was Storm. No, that wasn't. Was I looking at Storm when you were looking at something else?
Yes.
I was looking at Storm.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Because I was like, oh god, they got it wrong again.
And but so technically, Emma Frost kind of is the White Queen of the Hellfire Club, and the Hellfire Club is Shaw, which is also brought up in First Class, and also there's Emma Frost in that. But they also have this character named Mastermind, who they basically twisted Phoenix into Dark Phoenix to make her a part of the Hellfire Club, but then could not control how evil and how powerful she became. And then they ended up on a different planet, and it was actually Wolverine that had to kill her. It was a whole very dark thing. All of a sudden, though, so when I say it started getting cray-cray is years later after she was killed by Wolverine. Oh, just kidding. That wasn't Jean Grey. She was actually put in a cocoon at the base of the ocean, and that was a clone of her. But just kidding. That person that we thought was actually Jean Grey was just a clone, and that became the Goblin Queen. Again, this is when X-Men got a little messy in the 90s. So, but the beginning of Dark Phoenix is incredible. And it's interesting to see in the movie that they hinted towards Hellfire Club. That's what I thought when there's that very blonde chick who was like, they don't actually trust you, whatever. Obviously, they're changing the comic books a lot because Jean Grey started it. So, from what we saw in the trailer, Jean Grey starts as a small child at...
However, I do believe Chris Claremont was a consultant on this movie.
Ooh!
Yes, so I do think that
I'm going to ask him about it near Comic-Con.
Yeah, whatever it is that well, don't ask too much because I'm doing a panel about it.
I know,
March.
Same.
So, but I just think that like whatever it is, it's going to stay relatively true. Like
as much as it could. Obviously, the movie universe has changed so much.
Clearly.
I mean, we did have that sweet reboot at the end of X4. No, technically it was Days of Future Past, which was the Fox version, but they did that crossover. Sometimes I get so nerdy. But they did do a little bit of a reboot, so we can fix some stuff. So I'm interested in this movie. I am very apprehensive.
Yes, that is a good way to describe it, because I feel like I watch it and I'm like, oh God, like they've screwed up so many times,
especially with X-Men.
Yes, especially with, but then they've done some real gems,
right? They have
really
First Class. First Class is so good. The sequel, Apocalypse, wasn't great, but I didn't hate it as much as most people did. Or the third, that's technically the third one. Yeah, Days of Future Past, I didn't hate terribly.
It wasn't great, but I didn't hate it.
Agreed.
I didn't hate it.
There is one point though that I lost my GD nerd mind in Apocalypse, where it was when they all finally came together to fight Apocalypse, and there's one beam that goes and the other, and it goes in an X, and then the orchestra starts playing the X-Men theme song of ba-na-na-na-na, ba-na-na-na-na. I was like, yeah! Woo! Woo! Get 'em! Yeah! But, yeah, that was my one.
That right there is going to be the picture, by the way. That's going to be the thumbnail for this video, is Ruth Ann doing that right now. Just so you guys know.
We're going to make it a GIF. It's going to be great.
Yep. It's gonna be
Same
awesome.
with,
somebody else make it a GIF and post it, please.
Same with,
why did you say that name?
Between that.
We should do a whole show on that.
We should just do all the ridiculous faces. True story though, whenever we're finished doing these nerd rages, afterwards we're looking through the thumbnails. I make the weirdest faces.
Yes, every time it's always like me just sitting there smiling.
Being normal
and she's
very
all like it's some crazy thing. It's hysterical.
My face does weird things. I don't know, guys. I don't know. But yeah, I'm trepidatious because there's a lot of different random X-Men movies coming out. Because the one I love the TV show Gifted. Is that coming back in the fall?
Yeah, it should.
Good. I really like that. I thought that was kind of the best version they could have done of X-Men. But there's the New Mutants movie coming out, that kind of horror, suspense movie.
What happened with that?
Right? I saw trailers.
I saw a trailer too, and it had the other girl from Game of Thrones.
I kind of feel like a year ago.
Yeah,
I saw a trailer for that.
Oh, you know what? And here's the thing. Okay, so this is what I just found, because you have to understand, I'm like creating these panels for this stuff, that we canceled the Dark Phoenix panel because it was pushed. So the movie was actually pushed, I think, back.
Yeah, they have been doing reshoots.
Yeah,
I've been reading that they've been doing a lot of reshoots.
That concerns me.
I'm always concerned.
That concerns me with reshoots, because I feel like that means that something didn't test well, and they're like, we got to go back.
If anybody knows of a movie that got fixed by reshoots, I mean, I know that what's his butt, the Batman versus Superman? No, the other the latest DC movie with the whole group of them.
All I can think about is when they did reshoots to cover up somebody who got Me Too'd out of the movie.
Right.
So that's been happening a lot.
It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that was Kevin Spacey, by the way. But I don't think, usually it was Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad, but
was reshot like a bunch.
So much. Yeah, because they were like, oh, people like comedy and stuff. Let's add terrible comedy to this.
Also, stop giving Zack Snyder movies. Just stop. Because that's a whole nother rant I could go on. But apparently he's a very nice guy. But just don't give him any more movies.
Yeah, I can totally respect people as people.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure as a person, he's very lovely.
He's a very nice guy, but come on.
Come on, man.
Come on.
How many movies you gotta mess up?
Right? Messing up universes.
Yeah, entire
Everyone's like,
DC
oh,
universes.
but like, how much of that was Jeff Johns? And you kind of want to be like, not enough of it, because we all know about Zack Snyder. Just move him along. Promote him out or something, whatever it is you got to do.
Promote him out.
That's what they do in the movies.
That's true.
No one ever gets fired. They just get promoted out. Just like, it's somebody else's problem now.
Wait, look at that pretty shiny thing and a very big office.
Yes, go for that.
Go away.
We're going to pay you lots of money to get the F out of here. I know too much about the movie industry.
Yeah. Well, so for both movies, I am more excited for Captain Marvel.
Yes.
For sure.
I am too. That's the one I'm looking for, which is sad, but also because...
Accurate.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Because X-Men has messed up so many times.
Yes.
And I mean, I even remember when I was in high school and the first movie was coming out, I was like, you guys can't make that movie. Like, to do one movie about the entire... Like, X-Men especially is about so many different characters versus like something like Superman or Batman or Catwoman. You know what I mean? If you focus on one character that's had their own line of comics, fine. But when you bring in something that's like not just 5 or 6, like 10 to 20 different characters over 30 years of content, and like, we're gonna make an hour-and-a-half movie about it. Like, are you?
You know, it's kind of funny because I've seen lately. I've been really observing like shows and movies that have. Sorry, I have something in my throat. That have.
More champagne.
Don't mind if I do.
It is our weekend rager after all.
But I've like ensemble casts. I've been watching them to see how well they can be done and how well like some of them can't be done. Essentially, and there is a way to do it. There is 100% a way to do it, where you basically can have every single cast member in the show or in the movie and have it be done well. Like exactly, Joss Whedon knows how to do that stuff.
Say what you can about the man personally, but like he is the man. Look at Buffy. Look at Firefly.
Yes.
Before he started really getting into it, and then look what he did with Avengers.
And
I'm
by the
sorry,
way,
nobody else could have handled that.
Can I just say I wish Aaron Sorkin would do superhero stuff? Because tell me that would not be amazing.
That would be amazing,
right? Because with his just excellent like research and dialogue and knowledge and everything, and the way everybody interacts with each other and all of the stuff he's ever freaking done. Tell me that.
Okay, what do we want him to do?
Oh.
I want him to do Watchmen. He's the one who should do Watchmen.
Oh my God, you are right.
That is what he needs to do because it's so political. It's so dark.
Yes.
I just got chills.
I did too.
Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin.
Oh my God, can we start a movement?
Yeah, right.
Can we start a movement?
Sorkin for Watchmen.
What's being done with Watchmen again? Isn't something happening with Watchmen?
There's a comic book and a TV show in the works.
Why isn't he doing the TV show then?
Just everybody reshoots, do over.
God bless it. Right? And the reason why I bring up Aaron Sorkin is because I recently just watched Molly's Game, and I'm now, for the first time, and I know I'm super behind this, but I'm watching The West Wing. I've never watched The West Wing.
You know, I have never watched The West Wing.
It's really good.
I did not know that NCIS was a spinoff from West Wing.
Is it?
Yep.
I did not know that either.
I didn't know that until I was on set, and I was like, wow, all these props are like 20 years old. And they're like, well, yeah, so we just brought it over from West Wing. I was like, what?
Yeah, I've just finished season 1 of West Wing, and it's because everybody talks about it, and I'm like, I got some time. I'm going to watch it. And it's amazing. And I am a fan of Aaron Sorkin from The Newsroom. Yes. And I also liked Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip, which was canceled way before its time.
Way before its time.
Yeah.
So funny story about Newsroom. I was actually in one of the first episodes.
Were you?
And obviously we didn't know anything about it when we were filming it because it's the first episode. And it was a fucking horrible day on set. It was awful. I ended up being cut from the scene, like once they actually played, because I remember being like, what is this piece of shit, like TV show, whatever. And of course I love it. It's a great show. But it was a like 14 or 15 hour day. We were kept outside. It was so cold, and I was in this tiny little like dress, and it was just awful. And then, of course, the show comes out, and it's
amazing.
One of my favorite things ever.
Yes.
The ending, not great, but the rest of it is incredible.
Well,
oh my God, we need the Newsroom right now.
I know.
Like
right
legit,
now
since oh my gosh, if they started it from the election and went forward, Aaron Sorkin.
Why can't you just do everything?
Do this stuff. Listen, watch our podcast.
Yeah. Do it. And I saw Molly's Game on my flight back last week. Did not see the last hour of it because my flight was cut short.
No.
I know. But I was enjoying that as well. I did not realize Aaron Sorkin had done that movie. Mm-hmm. Which, by the way, guys, okay, if you haven't seen that movie, you should see it because, and this is like kind of like diverging off of everything, but I read the article about Molly like way back when it first came about, when she was being indicted and everything. And the part that
John Cena.
Sorry. Sarah.
He
plays, like, which he plays Player X, like in the movie.
Oh, wow.
Player X is actually Tobey Maguire in real life, but they don't name him because he's, Player X and it's supposed to be anonymous.
Oh,
yes. And when you know that going into the movie, you are just like, oh, damn. Because he plays this really creepy, slimy dude that, like, like
Shocker.
kind of like ruins her life and stuff.
Shocker.
Yeah, and it ends up being Tobey Maguire, and it just makes the whole thing so much freaking better when you know that, like, going in. And you know that one of the other celebrity players is Ben Affleck. Like if you know the real story behind it, because they don't use any of the real names, they just say celebrities and player X.
It's kind of, honestly, that's what we're doing with Con Life.
That's
Like, we're
totally
just not saying
Totally
a specific
is.
name, but
it's amazing. And to have it all be written by Aaron Sorkin, you're just like, oh, this is great. Yeah, it's
you have to
pretty
look
good.
up, is he working on anything right now?
Besides Molly's Game that just came out, I don't know. I don't know.
So good.
But he is. He's damn good, guys. Damn good. Yes. Speaking of Con Life, maybe we should just give a little plug since we're going to be doing this every week from here until eternity.
Yeah.
So, Ruthann is at New York Comic Con, and what she's going to be doing while there is she's going to be taking little videos of
Doing
people.
little mini interviews, kind of some people we love and have been in the comic book industry forever.
Yes, and talking about Con Life, of moments that they've had while there. Things that have made a difference in their lives professionally and personally. And we're going to be putting it up on our Con Life Facebook page and Con Life Instagram and Twitter because we just feel like these moments should start being recorded, like, historically and celebrated.
Yeah.
And so if you have one, head on over to This Is Con Life, our page for Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, and just share your stories. The hashtag is This Is Con Life, or just Con Life.
Yeah.
But This Is Con Life is better because otherwise you might be mistaken for a prisoner. So.
Maybe, I don't know. Don't come back to that one.
But yeah, so that's what Ruthann and I are working on now, and so I feel like it's something that, you know, really celebrates what we do.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are on board, and a lot of pros are starting to do it, you know, which you'll see when they're posting their photos and telling their stories of, like, a day in con life and things like that. It's like, you know, it's super fun. So head on over there.
Yes, please do. And
Yes.
if you happen to be at New York Comic Con, come see me. I'm going to be at the Loot Crate booth all week, and that's booth 536. So come on down for that. Since this is going to be airing on Saturday, you would have already seen me at the party that we're having. But yes, please come see me for the rest of the weekend.
Party is Friday night.
Party is Friday
Was
night?
Friday
Was,
night?
yeah, it already happened last night. Oh boy.
Oh,
Am
she's
I
so
hungover from the party? Oh gosh.
Mm.
But yeah, please come over. We have prizes and all this fun stuff. If you are already a looter, we have some pins to give you. Come say hi. If you buy anything at the booth, you get to play our claw machine with some other sweet prizes. So yeah, it's a fun-filled weekend. It's gonna be a blast.
Okay, so let's talk about a little bit, since we already have established that we love Miss Marvel and we love Dark Phoenix. And
ironically, Miss Marvel is the name so it's Captain Marvel because
that's right. That's right.
Little nugget of nerd fact right here is that Jean Grey, her first title was actually Miss Marvel.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, back in the 60s.
I'm glad I made that little faux pas.
Right.
Yeah. So I think what we should talk about next then is some of our own con experiences as females.
Ah.
Yes. So obviously you guys can watch, like, last week's when we talk about, like, our first cons that we ever went to, which are usually pretty small and they're more personal. But I would like to know, Ruthann,
Oh yes.
what was the first person that you met at a con, or who was the first person you met at a con that just made you, like, freak out? Like, hardcore. Not just, like, you know, I'm here with so-and-so and wow, it's amazing, what a coincidence. But, like, you went to go see them and you saw them.
Yeah. Well, all right, since we don't have much time and that would take me a bit to think about, something that actually happened to me at Dragon Con, because we were kind of talking about it last week of, like, if I'm prepared to meet a person, I'm okay. But if it's like a shocker, I'm like, oh God. Really, it took me off guard. And now I'm totally going to blank on her name because champagne. But I went to John Barrowman's karaoke party at Dragon Con a few weeks ago. And why am I blanking on her name? Because I'm so excited that she was there. But she's one of the Doctor Who. She played Catherine Tate. Woo! Got it. Okay. So all of a sudden, he just calls her up, and I realized that I had been standing next to her at the bar, but you know when somebody's head is turned and you just see the hair, and I was like, I was standing next to her, and I was like, ah! like, because she's an incredible comedian, nerd, everything, and like they sang a duet together about the Doctor. Lost my GD mind. Like, just lost it. And it was so funny because I was like, everybody near me, I'm like, guys, what is happening? I can't function. But yeah, it got me really, really stoked to be in the same room with her, especially because she's usually in England, you know, like and I had no idea she was gonna be there. So that was a freak out moment for me just recently. I can't remember my first one. It'll take me a while to remember. How about you?
I think mine was, I mean, granted, I've been going to conventions like for a very long time, and I'd met a lot of people that I thought I was never going to meet and get autographs from, but clearly in my brain, branded is the first time I met Sergio Aragonés, which, I mean, I was a fan of Mad, okay, like for forever, Mad magazine, and I had read it as a child, Spy versus Spy, all of that nonsense that you read. And because my father had old magazine copies, like I just read it for like forever. And I saw him at his table, and it just so happened that I was with someone who introduced me, who knew him. And he was so incredibly thrilled to meet me. And it was a shocking thing. And so because I was an editor at the time at Image, and so he was just like, oh, and he gets up, and he comes around the table, and he shakes my hand, and he goes, I don't know if you know who I am, but my name is Sergio, and I do this little magazine, and it's called Mad. And he's explaining who he is to me. And I was like, what?
I know.
I was like, exactly. So I was like, I know who you are. I know who you are. And he was like, oh, you do. And he was surprised. Like, he was genuinely surprised.
That's amazing.
And it was the most amazing meeting. And I took a picture, which you'll see posted on Con Life, of the first time that I ever met him. And it was like one of those moments where I think my happiness just like was bursting out of me. Like, to meet this icon. And
I just remember the story. But
yes,
continue.
and he drew a picture of me, and he signed it madly, Sergio.
Aww.
And it was the best. It was one of the most amazing moments I've ever had in my life. So go ahead if you remember yours.
All right, so there is one was actually with Chris Sabat 5 years ago, because it was after the first episode of the web series I was in for Dragon Ball Z came out. And I was at this Dragon Ball Z party in San Diego. I can't remember which movie he was promoting. I think it was Battle of the Gods. Can't remember. But Funimation party, super great time, all this kind of stuff. And I was wearing the baseball hat that I wear in the series, which is Capsule Corp, whatever. And the VIP section was legit like a level above us with a like a guard against it. But they were throwing like gifts and all that kind of stuff down to us, and then they turn and just keep enjoying their party. And they did, and Chris Sabat saw me, and he was like, oh, I like your hat. And I was like, yeah, I made it for this web series I'm in. And he's like, Light Hope, the Robot Underdog thing, right? I was like, yes. And he's like, awesome, come up here. And I was like, okay. And like, I came up, and for those who don't know, Chris Sabat does like 3 of the voices, but mainly Vegeta on Dragon Ball Z. And he just nerded out with me about Dragon Ball Z for legit like 20 minutes, to the point where his assistant was like, Chris, we have to go. He's like, yeah, 1 second. Like, and just kept talking. I was just like, this is the best moment of my life. Like, so that was my big, like, that was awesome.
That's great. And I feel like everybody has to have one of these stories.
Oh,
if they've been to a convention of somebody they've met, where you go there and you're like, you know who's there. And you know, like, if I get a chance to meet this person, that would be so amazing.
Yeah.
And then when it happens, number one, like, you're prepared but not prepared.
Yeah. You're like, I just,
yes.
Like,
and then number 2, it's just like you're in the moment and you're thinking to yourself, I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe this is happening.
Just soak it in.
Like,
Just soak
in your brain.
You're like,
yeah.
just record.
Like, this is the most amazing thing that's ever happened to me, and I don't even know. I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you do have one of those stories,
let us know. Please post it on our This is Con Life page, Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. Just let us know, because we love these stories and we're compiling them all together.
We think it's great.
Yes.
So
yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. If you're at New York Comic Con, come say hi.
Go say hi to her.
Yeah, we'll see you at the next one.
Yes, we will.
Thanks for joining.
Yes, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.